Well, yeah, it's SpoFi Nation. Welcome to episode 2 of A Bloop and a Blast. It has absolutely been a minute since we've been on here. It's been since opening day, but we've had so many great things going on at SpoFi. The jock chain's been popping off. We just launched the T sheet where T Philly walks you through his golf model and talks about some things to come there. We just Tyler and another guy in the Discord had a prop bet going on for the NFL draft last night. We've had Breezy behind the scenes making these overlays for our shows. You can see one here. So silently and in the background, Breezy is the most important SpoFi member. T Philly, what's going on, man? How you doing?
He's an important cog in the machine. I mean, second to none when it comes to Canva. Dude does it all.
Absolutely. So again, guys, thank you for all the support. We are closing in on our next milestone, which is 150 YouTube subscribers. So if you would like the video, subscribe, follow us, and rate our podcasts, all that good stuff. And speaking of Discord, you guys should join it. We have a ton of different conversations going on in there. Just recently, I was having a conversation with a guy about physical baseball cards. And so I brought 3 to the show today to show you a couple of my personal collection that I like here. 2 of which not too valuable, but still I like. And the first here is this artist proof version of Mike Trout. Let's see if I can get a good view here. There's something about the light and whatever. So anyway, this is a Topps Gallery card, and the thing behind it is they hire some artists to basically create cards, and they're really cool. This girl I follow on Instagram, Lauren Taylor Illustrations, she just got chosen to do this most recent years in Topps. This is not hers, but she does some awesome work as well. So I really like that one. The second one for the personal collection, this is a Barry Bonds rookie card. The reason I like this one a lot, again, not very valuable, but when I was growing up, ESPN always used to do live look-ins at Barry Bonds at bats, man. And it was must-watch television to see if he was going to put one in the water out there. So that was just really awesome. And then the third one, which I am holding long-term, near and dear to my heart and protecting it, this is a Shohei rookie card. And, he's doing some amazing stuff we'll touch on in a little bit. So I know you don't do real baseball cards, but we did just dabble a little bit in Topps digital baseball cards, Tyler. So if people are looking for more information on that or trying to get started, where should they go?
Yep. Go to our SpoFi HQ YouTube channel. We did a video last week. It was kind of a deep dive into the Topps digital NFT baseball cards. We gave an overview of what to expect on the platform, kind of give you an in-depth look at what it looks like. But we are planning on releasing some more videos around how to navigate the site, different things to look for, things like that. So definitely check out the YouTube channel. We're going to have more to come when it comes to the Topps digital.
Absolutely. So it has been a month now of baseball, and we'll start with a little quick update of the standings just to give everyone an idea of where we are in the season. We'll touch on some hot topics, some new rule proposals that we'll go over today, and just have a pretty conversational day. So the way that the American League is shaking out right now, the Red Sox lead the AL East by 3 games. The Royals, a big surprise. In the American League Central, with a 15-8 record, the best winning percentage in baseball at this point. And they're playing in a division with the White Sox and the Twins, 2 teams that we both picked, one of us each picked to go to the World Series. The American League West, the Oakland A's are in first out there after a 13-game win streak. Moving to the National League, NL East, Phillies, Braves, and Mets all tied at top of the division, but the Nationals in last in the division, only 1 game out. So still a lot of movement to happen there. In the NL Central, the Pittsburgh Pirates, you're hearing this right, are 12-12. Not in first place in the division, but they're 12-12. The Brewers are leading the division. And then in the NL West, Giants a half game up on the Dodgers at 16-9. So aside from the Pirates, Tyler, any huge surprises for you so far?
Where are the New York Yankees? What is going on? I mean, coming into the season, looking absolutely loaded, second to only maybe the Dodgers, maybe the Padres. But, I mean, the team's, loaded. And what's their record at currently?
They are 11-14. Not good. And
not
they're
ideal.
just not – they're not putting it all together. They'll have nights where, a stud goes out there and gives them 7-8 good innings of pitching, but they're not scoring. They'll have nights where they're scoring, but the bullpen falls apart. So they just haven't put it all together yet. And Aaron Judge has been hurt. He's I think coming back into the lineup tonight, but the guy can't stay healthy.
Yeah. Well, let's hope for a little spark tonight with 30-mile-an-hour gusts going out to right field with the over 7.5. I checked it earlier. It's up to 8 juice to the over. So I think you got in on that one.
Yeah, I did. I'm going to make a statement here, and if it fails, I'll just delete it out of the video. No, I'm kidding. I am fading Garrett Cole in DFS tonight. Garrett Cole and Shane Bieber are two aces in DFS with strikeouts being king. I'm taking a risk, and I'm going to fade him. He's pitching against the Tigers, a team with an implied run total of 3, and he's going to be like 50% owned on the slate. And I'm going to take a huge risk and fade him here. Not that 30 miles an hour of wind is that big. Like, you still have to put the ball in play to do so. But I'm going to go ahead and hope some other guys get the job done. So we'll see how that happens. But one of the hot topics I did want to touch on with you is this back and forth between Fernando Tatis and Trevor Bauer, going all the way back to spring training, really, when Bauer was pitching with one eye closed and Tatis homered off him twice. And so they had a little Twitter beef back and forth after that. Somebody asked Trevor Bauer after the game, hey, Fernando Tatis kind of mocked you a little bit. Does that bother you? And he says, no, he thinks it's good for the game. It's a good thing when two competitors can look at each other, give it their best, and say, hey, you got me this time or you got me this time. So I want to get your take on that. You have a lot of guys that look at it and say, they shouldn't be doing this in baseball. Mm-hmm. Some people think it's great. What is your initial reaction to, the showboating or the flair that these guys are adding?
Yeah, I think the common theme of this podcast and show is going to be the fact that we want the new age to come into the sport. We're not really stuck to the old ways of don't show up your opponent, things like that. To me, it boils down to one simple statement. If you don't like it, you should just play better. If you don't want him to pimp a home run, don't give up the home run. If you don't want to see Trevor Bauer give you, a little something after an at-bat, don't let him shake you out. I mean, it's as simple as that. You have the power to control those reactions. So, I mean, like I said, if you don't like it, just play better.
Yeah. And I loved Bauer's response too, man. He not only did it not bother him, but he's also advocating for both sides of this.
Right.
It's you look at other sports and they're evolving. Guys are celebrating after they score a touchdown. We see coordinated dances in the NFL after, right? And so you're going to throw at a guy because you're going to throw at a guy because he took an extra 2 seconds to admire a home run, or you're going to feel some type of way about a pitcher because he took a little K-strut after. Mm-hmm. Speaking of K-strut, shout out to Pitching Ninja, okay? This is the LSU version, the throw hard, a little nod to my alma mater. So if you're not following him on Twitter, he's an absolute great follow.
Yeah, and he's blown up over the past couple of years. I know I followed him whenever he just had a couple hundred followers on Twitter, and I was actually showing it to my wife earlier, just the overlays of, they'll show the same 3 different pitches in the same plane, and it's like 85% of the way to the batter's box, and it just dips or goes like this. I mean, it's just great. It's impossible to hit a baseball. I don't know how these guys do it.
It makes me happy. I peaked in high school and was not even good enough to move on after that.
I think I peaked in like Pony League. So
you're so right, man. I mean, it is disgusting when you see a guy standing there. The ball is, like you said, 85% of the way. One of them ends up, a strike on the outer third, and the other one ends up a ball off the plate, like a front door slider at your knees. I mean, how do you know if you're supposed to swing or not? Which is why if a guy homers off Trevor Bauer twice, he deserves to celebrate it a little bit. So anyway, that's one thought. Here's a stat for you. Shohei Ohtani became the first player since Babe Ruth to start a game as a pitcher while leading the league in home runs. He did that his last outing. Some of the stuff he's doing is incredible. What are your thoughts on Shohei Ohtani, first of all, but second of all, him also hitting on nights that he's pitching, and the way that the Angels are managing that?
I personally love it. I mean, I have been a big component. I'm kind of torn with the whole like DH thing. We can probably deep dive into this a little bit more on a future episode, but I like the fact, if you're playing the field, you should be batting as well. So I love that he wants to take that initiative upon himself to, forego that DH slot and bat for himself. I mean, why would you not want his bat in the lineup if you're the Angels? I mean, dude's dangerous. So exactly. I love it personally.
Yeah, and he's still hitting in the 2-hole on days that he's pitching too. It's it's phenomenal the things that he's been doing. In might have even been his first start of the season. He goes out and he throws a ball 100 miles an hour in the first inning, and then he hits a home run at like 115 miles an hour off the bat in the same game. It's absolutely mind-blowing considering most pitchers, when they step in the box, are literally just trying to take three and get back to the dugout.
And he did that in like 15 minutes real time.
Yeah, unbelievable. Here's another thing. We've seen 2 no-hitters already this year. And coincidence that they both happened in the beginning of the season? I don't know. They tweaked the ball a little bit. Does that have anything to do with it? So that's really cool. Former Pirate Joe Musgrove being one of the guys, Carlos Rodon the other. But Madison Bumgarner just threw a 7-inning no-hitter, right? I'll throw some quotes up because I want to get your thoughts. Does this? It was in the second game of a doubleheader, which new Major League Baseball rules say are 7-inning games. Does this count? Should it count as a no-hitter in the record books with the others?
No, I definitely do not think so. It's only seven innings. It can't, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. It just sucks because it's not by his doing. Major League Baseball said this is a full game, and he threw a full game with no hits. So I see the argument for it. But how many guys have kept a no-hitter through 7 and then lost it in the 8th or the 9th? And I just don't. The toughest 6 outs to get in a no-hitter are the last 6 by far.
Right, yeah. I mean, definitely no guarantee that he would have done it. It would have been nice to see him, afforded the opportunity to do it. I guess you're right. He's playing the cards he was dealt, but unfortunately, 7 does not equal 9 in my books, Maddie. So
new rule: if you throw a no-hitter in a 7-inning doubleheader, the other team has to play 2 more to see if you actually would have gotten it.
Yep.
So I agree. It shouldn't be a no-hitter. It is currently a notable achievement.
I mean, with all the new rule proposals in baseball, I think that might be something they could do. Maybe they test that out in the minor leagues.
Let's talk about those rules. I mean, okay, we'll talk about the most recent proposal, or one of them that we're hearing about, is potentially moving the pitching mound back. It's currently 60 feet 6 inches. Move it back a foot to 61 feet 6 inches. Gut reaction, thoughts on moving the pitching mound back a foot?
I mean, I'm open to any new idea. I'm not really gonna turn it down one way or another. I think my initial reaction is that would be tough for comparing. It's already hard enough to compare eras as far as players, especially in a sport like baseball where records are one meant to be broken, but I want to see them broken on the same playing field, if that makes sense. So it would be tough to change that dynamic of the game, which is so important. So it, I could see that being a sticking point to kind of the old records of baseball. That'd be kind of tough.
Yeah, it is it would be a big deal, but I'm also for any change, lowering the mound, moving it back, whatever. Major League Baseball has already lowered the pitching mound once back in the day, and so most people don't even know that, or don't even think of that. So it seems like a big deal now, but if we're talking about the longevity of the game, right, and you want it to survive and even grow, you're just going to have to make some changes, because one of the biggest problems right now is the pace of play. And we'll touch on that in a bit, but I do want to get your thoughts on this as well. If you move the pitching mound back, our team's going to try to steal more. Nobody steals anymore. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, teams right now are stealing at a lowest clip since 1971, 0.46 steals per game on average. Like you said, they're just not running. But the thing is, they're actually having a little bit more success when they're running. They're stealing at above. There's different sabermetrics and analytics that say if you can't steal a base more than 75% of the time, like if your odds of stealing a base aren't 75% or higher, it's negative EV to steal. Teams are actually stealing at a success rate of like 77% this year. So that's up above what, was 72, 73. But yeah, I mean, if you move the mound back a foot, I mean, think about how many times, 95% of the times, I feel like it's a bang, bang play at second base on a steal. And that extra foot is, going to come into factor into, one way or the other. So I think it might encourage teams to steal more, even if they, end up not converting at as high of a clip. It would encourage them to run more and change the dynamics of the game.
Yeah, and it would make you keep a speedster on your bench for sure. Speaking of stealing, we did just have a record broken. Tim Locastro broke the record for the most successful base steals to start a career without being thrown out. I think it was like 23. What's crazy though, and a quick warning for those of you who might have a weak stomach, before you go looking this up on Twitter, just take it from my mouth. His finger was pointing sideways on his first unsuccessful steal attempt. He slid into the bag and his pinky caught it wrong. And so he put his hand up when walking off the field and his pinky was going the other way. So
after the UFC fights this last weekend, I'm desensitized to any of that. It can't get worse.
What's a pinky when we talk about a leg? So yeah. Other rules that we've seen, just some quick thoughts on that and get your take. The goal behind all of this is to speed up the game, but they've been unsuccessful in doing so. The 3-batter minimum for relief pitchers. I originally liked it because I liked what it was supposed to do. But the reality is it's not doing what it was supposed to do. And in fact, we just saw a flaw in it. The Cardinals ran a guy out there the other day who just came up from the minors, or he doesn't have a lot of major league experience, and he didn't have command at all. So what ends up happening, instead of being pulled, he hit Bryce Harper in the face with a 96 mile an hour fastball, right? Instead of being pulled after that, you got to leave him in. What happens? He hits the very next batter. So there's a little bit of a flaw in the rule there. But again, I like what it was trying to accomplish. Your thoughts on the 3-batter minimum rule?
Yeah, and that's a good point. I didn't even think about like player safety when it comes to that kind of thing. The other thing is that I don't like the fact that it eliminated, a whole staple of the bullpen, kind of eliminated the loogie.
The lefty specialist.
Eliminated a whole player. I mean, a former Pirate, Tony Watson, he might not be in the league if they had this rule. I know he's, still doing his thing. But, yeah, I mean, I don't like that aspect, that it takes away the deeper, strategies in the game and managing the bullpen, those like that. Again, I think if it were to shorten the games and it actually worked, then I'd be all for it. But I'd like to see that those lefty specialists come back into play.
Yeah, and you got some guys with funky deliveries now. I mean, they're trying to invent righty specialists out here. Some of these guys throwing from all the way out here with
Marines,
like the Darren O'Days of the world too. So okay, another one. Starting extra innings with a runner on second base. Again, purpose is to speed up the game and not have these super long extra innings. I'll let you give your thoughts first this time.
Yeah, again, I'm open to anything. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference to me one way or the other. Both teams have equal opportunity with it. And again, I don't want to see the 16, 17 inning games that we've seen. And that only, hurts the team, not only in that game, but for the future games. So I don't mind it. I don't mind the second runner on second.
Yeah, I don't mind it either, because it takes away the extra innings. It doesn't speed up the game because the first 9 innings still went 3.5, 4 hours. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a 6-6 game or 7-7, where there's been multiple pitchers used and the runs are scored. So sure, it speeds up the extra innings, but that saves you time from midnight to 2 a.m. It still took you from 6 to midnight to, to play the first 9. So.
And bring small ball back a little bit. I mean, you got to think about it a little differently. You're not, just trying to get the walk-off home run. You're, can you bunt the guy over to third, and then, if you're the home team, a sac fly scores them. You win the game.
I would love to see teams bunt more, but they're saying a guy on second with no out is the same percentage of scoring as a runner on third with 1 out. And while the percentages may be the case, you're not taking into account the guys stepping up to the plate and their situational hitting abilities. Yep. So anyway, we'll talk. Keep that in mind. The runner on second base and extra innings thing. Last one I want to touch on though is the pitch clock. I was listening to the Pirates game the other day, and the Fort, Michael McHenry's telling a funny story about how he stepped out of the batter's box for too long in the minors, and the ump called a strike on him because the clock. I think this is silly. The pitch clock. Nobody's going to call a strike, especially when a game matters, especially when teams are in a pennant race. Right. Your thoughts on the pitch clock?
Yeah, I mean, don't have it if you're not going to actually enforce it, because, like you said, in any meaningful game, it's not gonna be called. So,
yeah. So, I have two alternative suggestions then. Number one, instead of a pitch clock, why don't we just have why can't we just agree for the batters to stop getting out of the box after every single pitch? I was watching on MLB TV. You can watch the games back, and you watch a pitch. You can hit the 10-second fast forward button, and then you still have to wait another 10 seconds before the second pitch comes. It's, these guys are stepping out. Everybody's acting like Nomar Garciaparra with the superstitions where he's got to do this 15 times before he gets in, and just step out, pick up your signals from the coach, and step back in the box. These guys look so lazy out there on the field. I imagine, Tyler, when you were playing ball as a kid, if you didn't jog on and off the field or whatever the case was, your coach had a word to say about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, 1 foot in the batter's box at all times whenever you're, catching the signals from your coach. But yeah, exactly. I mean, that's not going to – at that point, I feel like the players don't even want to speed up the game if they're going to be doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, here's another alternative that they just announced that they're going to do in the Pioneer League, and I freaking love it, man. They are going to replace extra innings with a home run derby in the Pioneer League. This is, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know the rules, but my initial thoughts, I absolutely love it. What's more exciting than a shootout in hockey or penalty kicks in a soccer match? What are your thoughts on a home run derby for extras?
You are 100% right. And then that brings in do you keep a guy on your bench that is a home run specialist, like things like that? But yeah, absolutely. Sign me up for this all day.
Wow,
100%.
Wow. Yeah. And then let's get the NBA on board while we're at it for a 3-point shootout for overtime.
Knockout.
Even though their product is pretty exciting as is. So yeah, that sort of wraps up the talk on the rule changes and our thoughts on that. Excuse me. So this wouldn't be SpoFi though, unless we tied, the money aspect into it somehow. So here's an update on the DFS side of things. We were posting lineups every day. One lineup that we were throwing into a GPP, and we realized quickly that it was actually giving off the illusion that we didn't know what we were doing, because the likelihood of winning money in those on a consistent basis, especially in just a one lineup dart throw, is pretty unlikely. So we decided to scratch that. But a little update, I have placed in the top 5 3 times now of different contests this season. So we're actually on a pretty good roll here. What are your thoughts on the little experiment we did with the daily double?
I think we should bring it back for football season. We can do it a little differently. We didn't do ourselves any favors. We were playing in 20 max tournaments with a single bullet. I think if we do this again, or if we start it back up, do single entries, so you're not really competing against those guys with the optimizers, even though, we do use optimizers, especially for football season. I know you use it for baseball. Whenever you're playing in 20 max or MMEs, it's so tough with a single bullet. So yeah, I mean, don't let Ladner fool you. He's already made your salary in the first month of baseball. So, he knows what he's talking about for sure when it comes to baseball. If you don't check out his plays of the day, you're missing out. In a sport like baseball, it's so hard to just single out guys on a daily basis, but Ladner's somehow able to do it. So check him out.
Well, it has overall been quite a successful first month of the season from DFS. But this last week, and any of my DFS players out there, put in the comments, let me know if you experienced this as well. The 3 contests I placed top 5 in were all within a week, right? So I was running hot. And now I'm in a slump where I haven't sniffed top 20 in a week, or top 100 in a week, or whatever it may be. And so now I'm questioning everything about my process. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. So you guys let me know if you experience anything like that, if you're playing multiple lineups, multiple contests on a daily basis. We did invest in some Topps packs, and we're giving some away. We're also keeping some on hold. What is your strategy? Just give us a quick strategy for you, Tyler. Obviously, we'll dive into this on the Jock chain, but a quick 1 or 2 thought strategy for people who are getting into the digital baseball cards?
Yeah, right now I'm just kind of I took the packs and I'm just holding all the moments. I did sell a couple, like the Redux moments where you can put them, you could actually burn the moment towards it's called a Redux pack. But I was able to sell those moments that I had that were included in that like challenge because they took a little bit of a price bump because they were included in the challenge. But other than that, I mean, if you're on the platform, just play around a little bit, buy guys that you love. I mean, you're not gonna. I don't know if we're gonna see the same ROI that we saw like early Top Shot days, but just buy guys that you like, that you enjoy watching, that you can root for, and if they do succeed, then you'll reap the benefits of that. But we'll dive into more strategy on the Jock chain. But high level, buy guys that you like to watch play baseball.
I like that, and that's why I brought these to the show, man. This card right here is like, $2 on eBay or whatever it is, so it means nothing to a lot of people, but to me, that represents sort of the exciting moments of baseball when I was a kid coming up, and some guys I like to watch. So to echo what you're saying, do that. But here's one important note for you guys. Be careful of scam collections out there. When you are searching for an item, we'll dive into this deeper as well, but they already have fake collections, people making their own NFTs, spelling it MLB Toops with an extra O or whatever the case may be. So make sure it's a verified collection. And that'll do it. That'll do it for the wrap up here. Tyler, any final thoughts as we move into the next couple of weeks of baseball?
No. One last thing I will say about Tops is be mindful. The default, whenever you're selling it defaults to the amount in wax as opposed to USD. So I sold a Buster Posey card that was included in the challenge for 50 wax instead of $50, and 50 wax equals about $11 US. So took a little bit of a hit there, but it was nice. I had to learn from it, and I will for sure moving forward. So just something to be mindful of on the platform. But I mean, baseball wise, I'm really excited to watch the Pirates, continue to play well. It is actually fun to see them play well. And I mean, being from Pittsburgh, you just hear the constant chatter of like, oh, okay, it'll be good for the next couple months and then sell all their guys. And yeah, that might be true, but we'll see if they can make a little run here.
I'd rather be sellers at the deadline than buyers and end up with another situation where we're buying Archer and giving away,
exactly.
Meadows, Glasnow, and Baz. So,
yep.
All right, dude. Well, thank you guys for checking us out. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow us on our podcasts, join the Discord, SpoFi HQ on Twitter, the socials, this, that, and the other. Help us get to 150 subscribers. Thanks for checking out Bloop and a Blast. We got Jock Chain coming out on Monday of next week. We'll have another T-sheet previewing the next tournament as well. We'll have some NFL stuff coming out now that the draft is underway. Lots of good things going on here. There's something for everybody. So thanks again for checking us out, and we'll see you in the next one.